Welcome back to another episode of Have Game Will Travel. I'm your host, Bennett Newsome, also known as Damn It Bennett, out in the gaming community, but as the Director of Esports Growth and Development here at Full Sail University. I'm super passionate about exploring the diverse world of esports and gaming beyond just skill level. So whether you're a first-time listener or a returning fan, we're thrilled to have you join us for this virtual journey through the experiences of industry professionals, but get ready to engage with our guests and learn from their perspectives. Get your questions ready. You can ask them in chat. We'll get them featured here on the show. But sit back and enjoy the ride as we kick off another episode of Have Game Will Travel with my guest here, Andrew Ross. How you doing, man?
Hello, I'm doing well, Ben. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm super excited to be a part of this show. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself real quick. Tell the people what you do and where you're at and all the things.
Yeah, so my name is Andrew Ross. I am the Esports Coordinator at the University of South Florida here in Tampa, Florida. So I oversee the entire gaming population of the campus, from competitive to casual to our facility, and everything in between. And I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about it, but I think I'll
Absolutely.
pause there for
Yeah.
now.
You don't want to give away too much. There's so much more
No,
to come, right?
yeah.
Well, good. So, obviously, getting your start at USF Esports. Talk to me about those early stages of building, because you kind of come in and really kind of pioneered that for the school. Talk to me a little bit about those early days.
Yeah, so my journey with USF Esports has been almost like I don't remember the word. I don't know. It's natural, it's organic. The stars
Yeah,
have aligned,
yeah,
I guess you could say.
like that.
Cosmic, if you will. Where I actually am not from Florida. I'm from Oklahoma. That's where I did my undergraduate studies, was Oklahoma State.
Yep.
And then I was looking at graduate schools, and the sport management program here at USF, the Venick Sport and Entertainment Management program, was a program that really called to me. It was one of the highest rated like sports management programs in the country. I said, awesome, great. Let's apply. Let's see what happens. I got in, and I moved to Florida for the first time, and Tampa in 2019. My wife and I, we actually got married in May. We went May of 2019. We went on our honeymoon, and we packed up the U-Haul, and then the next day we were driving from Texas to Florida. 20 some odd hours. It
Yeah.
was literally one of those moments where you just put everything you own in a U-Haul and drive down. And then during my time in graduate school, I would say around the end, like fall of 2019, there were kind of these, hey, the university is looking to start an esports program, and it was starting under recreation and wellness through the rec center. My director of my program at the time, Dr. Michelle Harrell, knew I had an interest in
Yeah.
video games, that I was a gamer growing up. And so she put me in contact with Antonio Gonzalez through Recreation and Wellness, who was starting up this program. And I was an intern, and I served as an intern. And then obviously the pandemic happened in the spring of 2020. And that was actually a really big catalyst for our
Yeah.
growth, because the whole campus was shut down.
Yeah.
All of rec was shut down, but esports was still operating. We still had our Discord, and that's when we launched our Discord. We were growing our spaces. There were some existing video game clubs on campus that we
Hmm.
did a lot of outreach with, had some conversations, and said, "Hey, we're turning this into a fully university supported, venture.
Yeah.
Come join us, come work for us, come be our student leaders." We put out like open leadership surveys that anybody could fill out, and we would talk to them. Like, we just wanted to find those students who had a drive and a passion for games, no matter which game they played.
Right.
And then we started to build out our club system. We started to build out plans for our facility. And then we operated, kind of in an online space for a few years.
Yeah.
The pandemic set the timeline for the facility behind,
Yeah.
and then we needed more money, and there was several obstacles we had to overcome. And then in fall of 2024, is when we finally opened our facility here at the rec center. And now it's just flourishing. So I feel like I've spent the last 3 or 4 years like
Yeah.
prepping the program to be ready. And then we finally got to like dive off the diving board for the first time
Yeah.
last fall. And then now it's a huge splash. And now it's like trying to keep the water in the pool a little bit,
Yeah.
because it's just like, oh, what's next? What's next? But no, the journey has been a lot of fun. And being here from the beginning, like from the inception of the program, like it feels like personal. Like it
Yeah.
almost feels like a little bit of a child that you nurture and raise
Yeah.
and turn it into something that you're proud of. And I'm really proud of it. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's
absolutely.
that's a little bit about the start, I would say.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like you have like ownership to it, like right, like
Mhm.
it means a lot to you. You've been building and developing it. Talk to us a little bit about the esports space, the Esports Living Lab, and I've actually been over there, got to see it. It's an incredible space. Kind of walk us through the idea behind it, what it offers to students, and just any other things that you want to talk about.
Yeah, so the Esports Living Lab opened last fall, and it on the main floor we have 41 PCs, and then we have console stations as well. So we have Xboxes, PlayStations, Nintendo Switches. The room also includes a production room, which is where I would be, but I'm up in my office right now. And then it also has a private competitive gaming room for the highest tier, our varsity competition in our clubs.
Right.
And it is free and open to use for all USF students. So as long as you pay your activity and service fee, which gets you into the rec center,
Yep.
then you can come into the esports lab.
That's awesome.
We are open 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to midnight, and then Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
During the week, that midnight closing time is actually, we stay open later than the building does. So the building closes at 10:30. We don't close until midnight, so it's actually kind of fun because we really get to serve, our group of
Yeah.
students, our gamers, our night owls, and say, hey, like, you can be on campus in a safe environment
Yep.
till midnight. Like that. That's really cool. But no, it's completely free to use. The students don't, have to pay anything outside of what they already pay for their fees. It's a first come first serve space. We do hold reservations like for our clubs and competitive teams for practices and matches and such. But yeah, it's any given day. Well, actually, I could give you the number. On average, last year we were averaging about 89 people per day
That's
in the
awesome.
lab. 89 unique people per day in the lab. And then when we have special events, smash tournaments,
Yeah.
fighting games, we get our clubs involved. We will see easily over 100, 130, 140, 150 people a day. So there's times where it can get really busy down there, but it's such a fun environment. It gets a little loud, but that's just because everyone's having a great time gaming with their friends, or,
Yeah.
or gaming on their own, or playing with their clubs. And yeah, we couldn't have dreamed of having a better space.
That's incredible. Yeah, it's a fantastic space. Obviously, getting to see it firsthand blew me away the first time I got to see it, and I can only imagine how the students are enjoying it. And there's nothing better than going to a space like that and being able to play games in your community with people, meet new friends, especially like in a time where everybody just kind of wants to belong,
Mhm.
and you can find a space that you have mutual interests with other people at. And so, fostering that community is huge. Talk to me a little bit about your community. I know that that is a big part of your program. On this show, we talk to a lot of different schools, a lot of different orgs that, have different initiatives. Some are very focused on, recruitment and focus on, varsity and winning matches. And then there's other schools that are really focused on, community and building, those opportunities for students. Talk to me a little bit about what opportunities are at USF.
Yeah, I think our values and what we strive for, we were almost born with it in a way
Yeah.
because of kind of the nature in the inception of the program that I talked about, and the time and during the pandemic. We had to be community
Yeah.
focused, and we wanted to be, but we had to be because community was all we had.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when campus was closed and we were operating in an online environment, our number one goal was how do we bring students together.
Yep.
These students are at home, they can't be on campus,
Yep.
we're in the middle of a pandemic. How do we give them an outlet?
Yeah.
How do we make them feel like they belong? How can we still keep them social? And so that forced us to, have weekly game nights and watch parties and monthly tournaments. And we love doing those things. So we really spent 3 years building the cornerstone of our program, which is community. And we're still community focused and community served today. Our program is all about the students, 100%.
Yeah.
We have competitive teams. We compete in NACE varsity.
Yep.
We have clubs. We have a dozen esport clubs now. But I'm not looking at their win and loss records,
Yeah.
right? If they win, awesome. Pat on the back. I'm glad you won. I'm happy you won. If you lose, that's okay too,
Yeah.
right? Like how are you continuing to make an impact on this campus? How are you continuing to
Like
make an
that.
impact on this university? Something new, even introduced this year for all of our sport clubs, is um, they now part of their grading for how they are performing as clubs will come down to community service and fundraising,
I like that.
and a lot of those aspects that are not a part of the game,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
instead, how are you engaging on social media? How are your academics? And so those parts are always really important. If I pulled up my programming calendar, and our goal, in me and my program assistants, we work really closely on this, is we want to offer at least one special event a week,
Yeah.
right? We have our things each week that we're going to do. We have our Smash weeklies on Tuesdays. We have fighting game weeklies on Thursdays. We're going to have our community game nights on Fridays. But we also want to do something unique and special at least once a week. Are we partnering with another office on campus? Are we partnering with a community group? Are we, introducing some sort of new programming? And that's the stuff that brings new users to the lab.
Yeah.
This past year, from last fall when we opened to the end of the spring semester, we had just under 12,000 check-ins to the USF Esports Lab. And now those 12,000 check-ins came from over 1,800 unique students.
Yeah.
So 1,800 unique different USF students came to the lab last year, and we want that number to be above 2,500 this year.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want at least 2,500 students to come to the lab. So how can we reach groups that we're not reaching?
Yeah.
Esports is in gaming in general. I won't even say esports. Gaming in general is just such a common binder
Yep.
between students. And so if we can make that front facing, and if we can make everyone feel like they're welcome and that they have a home
Yeah.
um, in the lab, then that's what we're going to do. And I think we recall back, again, referencing the inception of the program and the pandemic. It was actually kind of a tagline that just started happening naturally. Was we called our esports Discord, the virtual rec, the virtual
Yeah.
rec center, because
Yeah.
that's what it was,
Yeah.
and that's what it still is in some senses. That's where our students are connecting and bonding, and I think that's really cool. And that's what I get to go hang my hat on a
Yeah.
little bit when I walk home or when I go home, and we take a lot of pride in those types of community things. So
Absolutely. And, I've gotten to meet some of your students in the past through different events that we'll talk more about later. But you really have a lot of great students there on campus that are hustling, that are working hard. The inclusive nature of your community has always been something that I know that you specifically strive for. And you have that competitive level as well. So, talk to me a little bit about the balance between building a program that is inclusive, but also has that competitive integrity and a competitive level team to go out there and win some matches.
yeah, I think that we will have competitive success as long as we're doing things the right way,
Yeah.
right? As long as we're not cutting corners, as long as we are not trying to get places too quickly,
Yeah.
we will naturally build success. Again, we compete in NACE varsity. We compete in other leagues as well. We are a fully club program. I have not brought one student to USF yet on scholarship.
Yeah.
But our League of Legends team was top 8 in NACE
Yeah.
Varsity Premier last year and got to go to Full
Yeah.
Sail to your house and compete as a top 8 NACE Varsity program in the country
Yeah.
with 0 players on scholarship. Now that's a little bit of luck, but the credit is in the dedication of the players,
Yeah.
and the culture of, hey, we're going to do things the right way.
Yeah.
We're going to practice, we're going to VOD review, we're going to coach, we're going to not cut corners and do things the right way. But because we're also the club model, our all of our students who play on our teams still have a love for the game.
Yeah.
And that is what drives them. Like, there's nothing binding them to be on our team. They could walk out the door tomorrow if they wanted to.
Yeah.
but they don't because they love playing and they love playing with their friends. And the people that they're playing with, they know and they like and they hang out. And then now they're going to be roommates and they go to dinners on Saturday nights and they play for each other just as much as they
Yeah.
play for themselves. And I think at this level, that will cause you to have some competitive success.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and so yeah, it's a community vibe and a fun vibe just as much as it is a competitive vibe.
Yeah, I love that. And seeing players, especially when we are talking about top eight for NACE here on campus, just watching those teams play together, watching them communicate. Obviously, there's a lot of competitive schools that were there, so you see the top of the top. But just
Right.
seeing that in person is such a cool experience. If you've never been to an
Hmm.
esports competition, I urge you to definitely go. We actually have a great question here from McShoot. They ask, what is the main games that are played at USF competitively or otherwise?
Yeah, so we have 12 esport clubs. Oh, you put me on the spot. I
Oh
can do
man,
this.
12. That's a lot. That's insane.
We have 12 esport clubs, and each one of our titles is its own club. And
Yeah.
I think I should explain that because that means that that club has four elected officers. So there are four elected officers for Valorant. There are four elected
Wow.
officers for League of Legends. They all have their own budgets that they manage. So they get money from student government.
Yep.
They get to then use that money on coaches. They get to use that money on travel, registration fees, lands, equipment. They manage those budgets. They get to also like host their general body meetings and they get to host their community nights and they have to manage their social medias and
Yeah.
they get to post their announcements in Discord. There's a lot of leadership traits and things that you learn from becoming a club officer. We have 48 officers, right? So Valorant, League of Legends, Rocket League, Call of Duty, Super Smash Brothers, fighting games, Splatoon, Fortnite, chess, Overwatch. Oh gosh, what am I at? 10? There's a couple more. Anyways, that's the gist of it.
You're getting some
I
help
don't know
from
how
chat.
I
Cool,
can
cool.
play
Eli
it.
dropped all of
Yeah.
them there.
Thank, okay, thank you. Thanks, Cole, for copy and pasting there. Yeah, but we have a dozen, and so that is I love that because one, if you love Super Smash Brothers, you get to be an officer for the Super Smash Brothers club,
Yeah.
and then like I said, you're learning leadership
Yeah.
abilities. You're learning about yourself. How are you a leader,
Yeah.
right? Like how do you want to lead people? And then you're getting to do it one for the love of the game, but you're also in a place where you feel like you can
Yeah.
have a leadership position, because I tell you what, so many students, the first extracurricular leadership position that they have on campus at all is when they become when they become an officer for an esport club.
Yeah.
That's the first time that they've held a leadership position, is because it's something that they love and they are passionate about. So yeah, those are our main titles. I would say we've had the most competitive success with League of Legends, with Rocket League historically, and then I think Valorant, Overwatch, Call of Duty, they're in there as well. Chess has even won like an interstate championship. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
we love all of our clubs. Fortnite's our newest one. Splatoon was added last year. Mario Kart might be in the works. A little
Okay.
bit of I guess a little bit of a news drop, a little spoiler there, but no, yeah, our competitive folks and those students, um, yeah, they're a lot of fun to be around.
That's awesome. We've got another question from chat. Samurai Tank asks, I know that you serve as the committee chair in NACE. What made you decide to get more involved at that leadership level, and how has that experience been?
Yeah, so I currently serve as the chair for the Student Affairs Committee. That is a new leadership group within NACE that was started last year. Last year was also my first year attending NACE National Conference at ding 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 Full Sail.
Yeah.
And so it was my first conference. I had been in my esports role for a few years, but this was my first time getting to go to the NACE National Convention, and I just have always loved like being in leadership positions. Like I feel like I'm very comfortable like leading a group of people,
Yeah.
or leading people toward goals and tasks. And so when the Student Affairs Committee was announced by NACE as a new leadership group, I thought that that was the perfect place for me to be, because of the nature of our program, and because of how our program operates, right? Our program is under recreation and wellness. Recreation and wellness is under student success.
Yeah.
So student affairs and student success, two birds with different, same bird, different names. And I felt like I had the most to give back to the student affairs committee, because we're all focused on equipping program leaders with the knowledge and the tools, best practices for them to be able to lead their programs, and then also serving the students through professional development. There's a lot of things in the works. Some of the things I probably shouldn't talk about because we want to announce,
Don't
have
want to
some big
spoil
announcements.
anything, right?
I don't want to spoil anything, and I look. I'm an open book. I am about as just transparent as they come. So if I spoil anything, it's not going to be a surprise. But it just felt like a natural fit. It felt like a place I could give back. The Student Affairs Committee, because um, a lot of our leaders who are leading esport programs, they may not come from traditional higher education backgrounds,
Right.
right? They could be ex pros, they could be coaches, they may, come from a completely different area. They're now suddenly having to lead a collegiate esports program under in higher education and in that ecosystem in the student affairs world, and there's a lot they may not know. And I was in their shoes 4 or 5 years ago when I first started. And so I know what that's like. And so if I have the chance and the opportunity to give a little bit of my time and give back to, the members of NACE, and to be able to hopefully equip those leaders and students with the knowledge that they need to make their programs as successful as they can be, and make sure that they meet their university standards the best they can, then that's something I want to do. So um, I serve as chair now. This will be my second year on the committee, and then after that, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, that's exciting, and obviously we loved having you here on campus for the convention, and those are always really fun to go to. Talk to me a little bit about your experience at like what a NACE convention is like, and why that was such a cool thing to go to.
The NACE National Convention is, um, it's like when a whale comes up to the surface for air, right? It's been underwater, isolated, alone, or maybe with a couple people,
Right.
and then you get to come up and you get to just breathe out, right? Because you get surrounded by your colleagues
Yeah.
and the people that understand what you're going through
Yeah.
and understand what you need, and sharing ideas and stories and best practices is some of the best ways that we can continue to grow
Yeah.
as an industry, because I'm the only full-time esports employee at my university of 49,000 students, right? I sometimes feel like that whale at, 5,000 feet under the sea who
Yeah.
is just holding on
Yeah.
until I can come up for air.
Yeah.
And then when I get to come up for air and I get to see all my colleagues and my friends and the people I talk to on social media and engage with and watch their sessions and get to listen to them talk about what they learned and what they're passionate about and what they're experts in,
Yeah.
there's honestly nothing better than that, because it fills up your tank. It
Yeah.
fills up your battery. I came back from Nation National Convention and I had 5 pages of notes that I went straight to my students and I said, look, y'all, I have so many ideas and I talk to so many people, and I'm filled up again. Like my
Yeah.
cup is full, my battery is recharged, and I'm ready to attack the year. So, and I'm really glad it's at the end of the summer,
Yeah.
because that just gives you that boost you need going into what is the craziest part of the year, which is August and the
Yeah.
start of school. And that's when you need to draw on that energy. So, yeah, going to one of those conventions, if you ever have the opportunity, to have a little bit of a professional development opportunity, go to a convention or a conference where you're
Yeah.
going to have like-minded colleagues from around the country. Take that opportunity, because you won't regret it.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about like events and conferences and things, you guys host the annual USF Esports Summit. It's become kind of like a tentpole event for you guys. Talk to me a little bit about the goal behind it and just kind of how it's grown over the last couple of years.
Yeah, so the USF Esports Summit was made possible by our wonderful academic partners, the Vinnick Sport and Entertainment Management Program, which also just so happens to be the graduate program I came to USF for,
Right.
and Dr. Michelle Harrell. And she kind of approached us with the idea of what would it look like, if we had, these thought leaders on campus and we held a summit. And so we started, helping to organize that, and USF Esports officially kind of partnered and became a part of that. They actually had started it before we were even involved in it. And then naturally, I think we started every year. It seemed like we kind of got more and more. And it was like, oh, I know that person. And they would make a great panelist. And oh, I want Bennett to come speak and talk to people. Right. So it was something that really, I think, put a lot of eyes on what we were doing, but also just the industry as a whole, because we would have deans and professors and people who weren't really familiar with like collegiate esports or esports industry as a whole at all. And then they would come in and they would listen and they would hear and they would be like, oh, wow, like I didn't even know we did all this. And
Yeah.
I didn't even know these things were possible. And so I think the more that we can have kind of our industry be in public spaces like that, or spaces that we commonly don't, kind of walk in, I think will only help like continue to grow. So, um, and now there's in the state of Florida, there are other,
Yeah.
conferences and things that pop up. And now we're focused on Scholastic. And I know that there, last year was one of the Scholastic summits that started. So yeah, we're looking at what that looks like in the future with our Vinnick partners. I know that we still are having speakers come in, and is it going to be at the same scale as the summit? We're having some conversations,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, the esports summit has always been a hallmark part of the year for us.
Yeah, it was really great to see your students just like full on involved in every aspect of that summit, which was really cool. And my last guest, Danielle and I were both on the same panel when we
Yep.
both were there, which was awesome. But it was such a great time, and I'm excited. This isn't the only kind of event that you guys do. Talk to me a little bit about the other events, tournaments, initiatives that you run throughout the year.
Yeah, so I think our signature event is the Battle for Florida, which
Yep.
actually spawned from the summit, right? We had the summit during the day, and it was like, okay, let's have a business conference during the day, then let's game at night, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the Battle for Florida was born. And the Battle for Florida has taken on its own life
Oh
to
yeah.
where we're like, wait, we can't even run this during the summit anymore because now
It's
we
too
went
big.
from let's do a show match
Yep.
to let's do a 3-day LAN with 4 titles and 16 teams on campus.
Yep.
And we just completely outgrew like the space that we were kind of, having reserved for the summit. And so now the Battle for Florida is kind of another like signature branded thing that we're continuing to step into and grow into. And it's every October. So last October we had 3 titles: Rocket League, League of Legends, and Valorant.
Yep.
Um, and we brought it's 16 teams per title is kind of what we cap registration. We do online qualifiers in September, and then we bring the top 4 teams from each title to the Tampa campus in October,
Yep.
to kind of battle out, that final four. And so it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday last October. This October will be the same thing at the end of October, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We added a new title. Our 4th title
All
is
right.
Super Smash Brothers Crew Battles to
Okay.
kind of mirror the collegiate format. So that means 4 more teams will be coming to Tampa, and into our lab spaces and competing for the what I would say is the a very fair title of best team in Florida,
Yeah. Yeah.
because every school in Florida can participate. You don't have to be an official program. You don't have to be a varsity program. You can be a group of students or a club, and you can sign up and you can register. And there's no registration fees. We don't charge anybody to participate or to compete. And I think the inclusiveness
Yeah.
and the low barriers really makes for such an exciting product
Yeah.
because, like I said, anybody can play. And we've seen some great, we watched the University of North Florida was one of the top four League of Legends teams last year. Just some club students
Yeah.
playing the game, having a great time,
Yeah.
and having fun. They qualified. They ended up coming down and playing, and they had T-shirts made, and it was a whole big thing, and it was
Love that.
great. It was awesome. I love that because it was the core of
Yeah.
what like esports and gaming is about. In that it's just the love and the passion for the game. Um, and so we started that in 2021 and we had some partners and we used to offer prize pools. Now we have actually gone away from the prize pool model and instead we are offering travel stipends. Since we are now kind
Yeah.
of expanding the land, and it's a big commitment to ask people to, hey,
For
can
sure.
you come out of town for 3 days and
3 days.
hotels and lodging
Right.
and food and gas. So any sponsorships and partnerships that we get are, when we're hitting those goals, all that money goes back to those teams. So I essentially take however much money we raised, I split it evenly among the teams, and then they get to reimburse their travel for gas, for lodging, for
Yeah.
food. And so I'm hoping that number continues to grow and grow and grow, and it's a great thing to talk about because we keep none of it,
Yeah.
right? We don't keep a dime. Every penny that we get goes back to those teams that qualify for the Battle
Yeah.
for Florida. So it truly is so accessible and inclusive for any and all schools in Florida. So a shameless plug, but those registrations will open, I believe,
I love it.
next Friday.
Yeah.
So registrations for the Battle for Florida are coming up soon, and we're so excited for our Battle for Florida season this year.
Any teams that you think we gotta keep an eye out for the Battle for Florida this year?
Well, last year, Florida FIU, Florida International, shout out to Patrick. They took home two of the titles. So
Okay.
they took home the Valorant title and they took home the Rocket League title. USF took home the League of Legends title. It's always really interesting, like because UCF could come in and they might have an incredible
Yeah.
team. And Danielle in Florida Tech, like they bring some awesome teams, and Florida Southern, and they're gonna bring over great teams. And honestly, there's been a lot of growth, like Kaiser University, Daytona State College
Yeah.
now is a varsity program. Of course, like North Florida, UF, FSU, Miami said that they're going to be
Yeah.
in for this year. So that's what it makes it so fun is because it's a true even playing field for all the schools and colleges in Florida, and you never know. You don't know who's going to make that top four or who might
Yeah.
surprise
Yeah.
you or who might have that upset. Seeding that tournament is really hard, I will say, because it's not like we're all playing in a common league. We kind of
Right.
have to do a lot of digging to seed those tournaments. And we don't always get it right, but sometimes we do okay. And yeah, I'm smiling so big because it's just bringing the state together
Yeah.
specifically around like esports and gaming and competition, and in that environment is so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And with your new edition of Smash in there, you may see some Full Sail Armada friends coming
I I
coming in.
I
So
always will count the full sail armada to be a part of it. I think you all had two teams
yeah.
here in the top four, so all three titles. You had two teams here. I will always have FSA circled on the roster sheet. So yeah.
I love that. Talk to me about events. I mean, we both do events. What is your biggest takeaway after an event's over? What is the thing that you're going home saying, like, this is the best part of why we do this? Like, is there a specific part that you see every time you do an event on campus?
Yeah, for me, and I'll use the Battle for Florida as an example because I think that is probably our broadest event. It's all about the player experience
Yeah.
and what can my students learn
Yeah.
during that event. Um, if I'm a player and I qualify for the Battle for Florida and I have to commit 3 days to coming to Tampa, how are we going to make it worth their while, right? And that's of course, the tournament and the games, but also outside of the game too, right? Um, for example, for this year, we were sitting down and we're brainstorming at the table, and we go, what if we could get a partnership with Busch Gardens and send
Yeah.
everyone to Busch Gardens for
There you
free,
go.
like
There you
on
go.
Friday, right? Like, what if they could go to an amusement park with a free amusement park ticket, or how can we get the meals brought in and catered?
Yeah.
We do gift bags. So, like all the students last year who qualified for the Battle for Florida, they all left with a gift bag that had little, treats and knickknacks and little prizes and things. And we'll do the same thing this year. I want to make sure that even if things don't go your way in your game, even if you have to go home and you didn't win,
Yeah.
you still had a good time.
Oh yeah.
You still enjoyed yourself. You still got to meet new people. You still got to meet and have a chance to be social with the other teams. So this year we're doing a barbecue. We're gonna grill out and we're gonna have a tailgate on Friday before things kick off. We're gonna send everyone home with their gift bags. We're gonna have socials and opportunities for people to connect, and every year we're just gonna try to add on that next layer and
Yeah.
that next thing. Um, and then I mentioned, what can my students take away from it? What can my students learn? Because you mentioned it's an army of them, and
Yeah.
I love them. I love each of them so much because again, being the only full time employee, I have to rely on them so
Yeah.
much. I am one person,
Yep.
and it takes my army of 25 students to put something like that together. From the production side, from greeting teams when they get to campus, from hey, we're going to Castor Beach and we're going to do a photo shoot on
Yep.
the beach and we have these props and then somebody needs to edit them and then we need to post them and we did handwritten like thank you notes. The students sat there and wrote handwritten thank you notes for the gift bags. We decorated the lab. I can't decorate the lab on my own. My students spent 2 days, day and night,
Yeah.
painting palm trees for the Battle for Florida decorations,
Yeah.
and they loved doing it because it was like, wait, we get to have a part in this, and everyone's going to have a great time because we're going, those extra steps. So yeah, the student experience, the player experience, but then also what my students get out of it. That's what I get to go home and sleep on, and that's what I can go lay my head down and give myself a little pat and say, you did okay, Andrew. Like you did all right. If those things can happen.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, you've been doing this for a while now, and obviously, really building in the pandemic back in 2020 to now. You're looking at the fruit of your labor. Like, talk to me a little bit about what's next for USF.
What's next for USF? That's great question. Um, with 1 year of lab operations under our belt, I think we're looking to polish and fine tune those things, just to get as many students to the door as possible. Um, Taking the extra steps with our programming. So if we ran a program last year and 20 people showed up, okay, how can we get 30 people to show up this year? What can we offer? Just being a little bit more efficient with our processes. As a state institution, we are pretty much know that our budget is not going to change.
Right.
If anything, our budget might go down, um, just with the nature of how things are going right
Right.
now. And so, how do we adapt? How do we become more efficient? How do we do what we do really well while still trying to innovate and still trying to grow and maintain that growth mindset? Not just shut ourselves off to say, well, the money's not there. Sorry, we can't do this thing. Or, well, we don't have the time. Sorry, we can't do this thing. Not having that attitude, but, well, how can we just be adaptable and
Mm-hmm.
how can we do things differently? I think for us, for USF, I said earlier, I don't we don't look at the wins and the losses, and we don't. But I am a competitive person by nature, very competitive actually, and so I want to continue to bolster our varsity support
Yeah.
for our teams. I mentioned that we're not currently offering scholarships. We're working toward that.
Yep.
I think that that's still a goal that we're working toward. But what are other things that we can do for our varsity teams, right? Can we get them early registration? Can we get them access to the dining that athletics gets to use?
Yeah.
Can we get them, more practice space. What little perks and things can we work to offer our varsity teams to make sure that this is an experience that they want to be part of when money is not involved, right? When it's not directly a scholarship or some support like for tuition.
Right.
What are other ways that we can support them? Um, and yeah, I think that I said I'm a transparent guy, and I am a very transparent guy. What's next is a big question for us.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I think um, within our department, within recreation, um, when we opened the lab last fall, we had the big celebration,
Yep.
and yeah, you were there, right? And we had a big party, and I think a lot of people saw that as the finish line.
Yeah. Yep.
A
We
lot of
did it.
people said,
We're open.
We
Yep.
did it, right? We're good. We opened the lab. Congrats."
Yep.
I saw that as the starting line.
Oh yeah.
Right. That was just the start of what we needed to continue on this journey. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's something we're trying to figure out. What's next?
Yeah.
We have some really cool connections and partnerships. We have a new college on campus through cybersecurity and AI. Um, and we already have some connections with the cyber games. We run cybersecurity streams and competitions for
That's
them,
cool.
and so just seeing if we can maybe build on some partnerships there, building on
Yeah.
partnerships with the Zimmerman School for production and
Yep.
broadcasting, and then for me, we're at the point now, we're in year 4, getting into year 5. We have alumni now, which
Yeah.
is crazy to
Yeah.
say, right? Like, so, and I look at what you all do with your alumni games and your alumni weekend, and well, what can we? How can we start engaging our alumni, or sending out newsletters and
Yeah.
keeping them in the loop? And so this year, actually, for the Battle for Florida, on that Friday, we're going to have our first ever Hall of Fame ceremony,
That's
where we are
awesome.
going to induct our first class into the USF Esports Hall of Fame, because we're at that point now in our life cycle to where that's a possibility,
Yeah.
because we have people who have graduated and gone on and gotten jobs and things like that.
That's
So,
very cool.
yeah, we're in this adaptive stage where finding out a little bit of what's next, while at the same time polishing and kind of trying to do as efficient the things we're already doing, but maintaining that growth mindset and trying to just always be here for the students.
Absolutely. Do you ever think about like the fact that you're working in collegiate esports and esports and gaming, like, and just kind of, hey man, this is crazy. Like, what are those thoughts and feelings about that?
Every day. Every day, right? um, when I Back in 2019, earlier in the show I talked about it. I was a finance major at
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, and I got into the Vinnick Sport and Entertainment Management program thinking I was going to go work for the NBA, or go work for the NFL, or go work for an
Right.
agency, because I never played professional esports, right? I
Right.
never played tier two. I never even tried.
Yeah.
I played games casually with my friends. Um, Old school RuneScape since I was a kid, basically, to Call of Duty in middle school on
Yep.
game battles tournaments with my
Oh yeah.
friends, to League of Legends in high school. But it was always a fun hobby for me, and I'm competitive by nature, so I wanted to win. But um, I never thought that I would have been here.
Yeah.
And I think I go back to, it was just kind of that cosmic stars are aligning.
Yep.
Hey, Andrew, this program is starting. They need some support. Video games.
Right.
Can you help out?
Yeah.
And that was an internship, to a graduate assistantship, to the full-time role. And I wouldn't change a thing about it. I wouldn't change a thing about it. I love working for a university.
Yeah.
I love being in front of the students, hopefully having a positive impact on their experience as students, but also as humans. I think I'm a firm believer that this stage, 18 to 22, is such a critical part of your life, that habits and choices that you make now
Yep.
can determine your path for forever. Um, and if I get to be some sort of positive influence on that, then again, that's one of those things I'll get to hang my hat on. So yeah, it was not something I predicted.
Yeah.
It was not something I planned, and To be honest, again, being a little bit vulnerable, sometimes it makes me feel sometimes a little bit like an outsider because I always was a traditional sports guy. Like
Yeah.
I'm a football guy, I'm a basketball guy, and gaming. Yes, I know gaming, but I'm not from the trenches of
Yeah.
esports, right? I didn't go through those tier two grinds and come out on the other side, right? I haven't been a part of this since 2008, like everyone else. Like it's just one of those things that kind of fell into place, but I really am glad
Yeah.
that it did, and hopefully the hard work and is the proof
Yeah.
that it is
Absolutely.
working. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of this industry that we both get to work in is the fact that there are people that were grinding in the tier 2 and even tier 1 landscapes, but then there's people that aren't, that came from different avenues. I came from the content side of things, right? Like
mhm.
it I think the fact that we all fit together in this puzzle piece really makes this a beautiful space and provides the opportunity for growth on so many levels, not just for the students that we're fostering, but for the directors, for the other institutions, and the faculty of those esports programs. That there's so much opportunity in, like you said, going to the NACE convention and coming back with your cup filled and 5 pages of notes, and we're gonna go do this. We're gonna try these new
Yeah,
things. Like that's what it's about. And I think that your experience, your road to that path, to where you are now, is specifically what you've been and what you've been building at USF. So I think that's great, man. I don't think you have to have any thoughts about not feeling like, oh, I'm there, because that's what you bring
yeah.
to the table. I mean, your
Well, I
program shows
appreciate
it,
it.
you know?
Mhm. Thank you,
Absolutely.
thank you. I
Absolutely,
really
man. Yeah,
appreciate it.
dude. So, okay. Let's talk about the future of not only like esports and gaming and club activities, but
Mhm.
do you foresee like your program going in that full varsity category where you're able to build your staff and have more faculty on staff, as you guys continue to grow your program at USF?
I think for me that's the hope
Yeah.
and the dream, right? I think that uh, it's not completely up to me
Yeah.
though, right?
Right.
I don't control the purse strings of my department,
Yeah.
and so I will have to um, make sure that our vision is a shared vision, right? And make sure that it's not just about me who sees the value, but everyone who's a part of our team and our department and sees the value. And I think if we can come to some common goals and agreements and alignment, then we can make it happen.
Yeah.
But I won't stop pursuing it,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to stop trying. Um, Part of the reason why we, you know, are spread so wide and we're like, why is USF Esports doing a cybersecurity competition? Like, what are they doing? Because we're on a federally funded grant
Yeah.
that we get, some salary savings on. And hopefully, I'm thinking maybe one day that if those salary savings are enough, we can be able to afford another full time employee,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's why we do it. So it's a little bit of like you got to earn it. It's a little
Hmm.
bit of finding your own like alternative revenue streams. We do camps. We just did 4 weeks of summer camps this year.
That's awesome.
One, like we want to obviously, put those youth in a great environment, a safe environment, and show them the right way to do things. But two, hey, if we can bring in different streams of revenue and sources, how can I then take that to my admin and say, look, we have X, Y, and Z that's bringing us this much per year, this much per year, this much per year. Can we use that for more esports support and
Yep.
resources and staffing? Um, and so, yeah, I definitely want to work toward the traditional varsity
Right.
programs. We would, of course, start small, right? But the day we offer that first scholarship will be a big day for us.
Yeah.
It'll be a
Absolutely.
monumental day. It'll
Absolutely.
be a day that did not come without a lot of trials and tribulations and work and hurdles that we had to overcome first. And I think a little bit is just because the nature of where we live, right? Like being under campus recreation, like
Yep.
being an A&S funded department, being under student success. Like we're not under athletics. Like
Yeah,
we can't just whip out scholarship dollars. Like there's a process and a
for sure.
bureaucracy in a
Yep.
place that and in a way that things have to be done. But yeah, I do envision that for us. I do. I think I want to make sure that a future varsity program and future varsity teams don't have a negative impact on the community that we
Right.
have built
Yeah.
and the clubs that have supported us for years.
To get to this point. Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
the clubs have supported our community arm since our inception,
Yeah.
and I don't want varsity teams to have a negative impact on them
Right.
to
Yeah.
where their resources start getting taken away or their access starts getting taken away, um, because that just wouldn't be right, and it
Defeats the
wouldn't
purpose,
be.
right?
Yeah, it defeats the purpose because now we're taking away opportunities from
Yep.
students while giving these students opportunities, and that's not a win-win,
Yeah.
right? um, that's a give and take. So finding the right way to do it, making sure that we can, if we're going to do it, make sure it's something that we're going to commit to long term,
Yep.
not just something that is going to be here for a year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. Like I would want it to be solid, sustainable, and something that would have longevity. And until we're fully prepared and we have a plan in place to commit to something long term, then we're going to continue living in this hybrid world, which honestly I'm kind of
Hey.
becoming accustomed to.
Yeah.
I think there's I don't want to start standing on the soapbox, but um, having our esports being supported in this way, in the way that it currently is very sustainable,
Yeah.
and it's not going to go anywhere. We're not going to get shut down. We're
Yep.
not a threat to like just get cut,
Just
like
yeah, cut. Yeah,
because
100%.
we're sport clubs. There are 55 sport clubs:
Yeah.
rugby, basketball, ultimate frisbee, flag football. 12 of those are esport clubs,
Yeah.
right? So the program
That's
is
cool.
bigger than just us,
Yep.
which provides a nice security blanket for the long term.
And I like the ownership that the students have of it too. You talked about
Mhm.
four, call them club leaders or
Mhm.
that
Officers, yeah.
yeah, the officers, right? Yeah, then
Mhm.
they they have a lot of ownership to make sure that their club is successful. They're doing the things that need to be done to meet the requirements. And that's, I mean, there's a whole lot of really cool things in there that add to that. But talking about athletics a little bit, Jacob Nachos asks, have you found any ways to collaborate with some of USF's T sports, aka traditional sports, or do you have any plans to try to collaborate with any of the sports teams at USF?
First of all, shout out to Jacob. Hi, Jacob. Love you, brother. Um, so I think for us, our natural inroads with athletics come from programming and special events. I don't think it is likely or reasonable that we would create too many long-term like partnerships with them.
Yeah,
But as an example, when college football came out last year,
yeah,
you can bet the first people I emailed was the football team
yeah.
and said, "Hey y'all, I'm going to be throwing a college football release party. Would you want to bring the team by? And
Hmm.
does coach want to come play? And can we make it, a thing?" And so, yeah, I think it's going to be opportunities like that to kind of get athletics involved.
Yeah,
But anything to where, oh, is esports going to go under athletics one day at this university? No,
yeah,
or at least not in any foreseeable future. Um, but yeah, I think the partnerships that we can work on and create is those experiences and those special events,
yep,
and how can we engage with those traditional sport teams on something really cool that one is going to be really fun for their teams and players, and then
right.
two is going to put eyes and new eyes on what we're doing in our program. And I think that's probably the most common ground that we currently would have with them.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Well, we are at that kind of end of the show. We have kind of reached our time, but what I always want to do is give you an opportunity to shout out anything that you want to shout out. Tell people where they can find you if they want to reach out to you. So go ahead and let people know how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, sure. So if you want to reach out to me, It's gonna sound old school. Email? Question mark,
Question
please.
mark.
My Discord DMs and message requests can be a graveyard at
Yeah.
times. I probably need to work on that. You can shoot me a message on Discord. I Mayors underscore son. Twitter Andrew Ross 1107 or email Andrew Ross 1 at usf.edu is probably the things I will check the most. Um, yeah, and so I'd love to have chats, conversations. I love meeting and connecting with new people. Always open to have those conversations. For shout outs, well, I think I wouldn't be where I am, or even in this job, or the program wouldn't be where it is without the students. And
Yeah.
not just the students who are a part of this program now, but the students from the beginning, our alumni from inception. And then I want to give a special shout out. I have three program assistants right now, David, Sophie, and May.
Yep.
They are the backbone of everything we do. Being the only full time employee, wearing all the different hats, I put so much responsibility and work onto three really high performing and achieving students
Yeah.
who are still in school, who are still taking classes full time, who have lives and social lives and other responsibilities, but they work really, really, really hard. And this year we have about 25 students who work for us. They're all great. And then, of course, sign up for the Battle for Florida. Those
Yes.
registrations are coming out soon. I want to see all the teams. Any school and college in the state of Florida. Doesn't matter if your program is officially sponsored. Doesn't matter if you're a club or a varsity team. You can play and you can participate. Um, and then, of course, I think last shout out is my wonderful family, or my wife Shell, who has been so supportive every step of the way, and everybody in my life. So yeah, thanks for having me on, Bennett. This has been amazing, and
Absolutely.
thanks for your patience as well.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, not a problem. We'll do one final question, little rapid fire here. If you could have and host a dream esports matchup or event at USF, what would it be?
Oh, a dream esports matchup. I think, and I'm gonna pick on and choose our friends down the road, our War and I4, UCF.
Yeah.
Um, they are a student run program with great leaders, and they are working really hard right now to become a recognized program officially by their university.
Yep.
And I think I could picture in right outside my window in our Yingling Center where we do varsity basketball, a giant like Rocket League match or League
Yeah.
of Legends match or Valorant match where this side of the arena is UCF and this side of the arena is USF. And it's just that old school rivalry. Everyone's having a great time. The arena's packed. The production is on point. I maybe would have to bring y'all in to do the production, of course, but um,
We'll
I
come.
think
We'll
that
do it.
that
We'll do
is like,
it.
yeah, I think that is like a dream event, to where the campus is involved and the mascots are there and everyone's invested because it's something bigger than just gaming and esports. It's representing your
Yeah.
university and those rivalries. And yeah, I think that would be a dream event.
I love that. Yeah, that's fantastic, man. And I think that hey, we are huge fans of UCF as well, and we know that they are working really hard to try and get that recognition
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah.
So we're all working towards that, hoping to get to
Hmm.
do that. But Andrew, thank you so much for being on the show and your time here today. Guys, our next episode is going to be on September 4th with Jesse Bononi, the executive director of Voice, which is the voice of intercollegiate esports. So if you would love to tune in, we will see you then. But again, Andrew, thank you so much for being on the show, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me. Bye bye.